There we go. Let's adjust this a bit. There we go. Hit the microphone. All right, we are all set. How you doing, friends? How are you doing, friends? This is Ernie, and this is the 0 Days to Expiration podcast, episode number 86. Woo! 14 more episodes until we get to 100. Fantastic. It's been almost exactly a year since we started this service, and it looks like we may end up at 100 episodes on that exact... Well, that'd be awesome. Anyways, I was just watching an old movie with Robert Preston called The Music Man. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but if you ever get a chance, get to YouTube, look up the Music Man, Robert Preston. I think it has Shirley MacLaine in it. And there was this one scene where he's trying to he sells, musical instruments, bands, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to sell all this equipment to the town. And the town is, totally straight. I mean, right out of Norman Rockwell type of situation, and he needs to create some sort of controversy. Well, I mean, the whole point is that, you're in these perfect towns. You never think that there could ever be anything wrong, but he starts this idea that the new pool hall with the pool table, it's actually the billiard hall. They played billiards, and then they brought in a pool table, and he got the whole place in a stir about how pool was the road that led to the devil or something like that. That's going to destroy your children. Well, how did it go? We got trouble. We got trouble in River City. We got trouble with a capital T and it rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Speaking of pool, see, I got my pool hat on. I love pool. I've got a pool table back there. Soon, it will be, you'll be able to see it. These walls will go. Anyways, this, I've been talking about Zero DTE now for a year on this podcast, and talking about all its accolades and the great things about it. And, you need to balance that with the things that are problems. And there are, we do have some problems, like any relationship or a new job or anything that just seems to have this, it's all great, right? But there's always something that can take a little bit of that luster off. And, a trading strategy is no different. Most trading strategies are nothing but trouble. They are capital T, trouble. But the Zero DTE on trading options on the S&P on the last day of expiration is one of the most trouble-free strategies that I've ever seen. That doesn't mean that it is not completely free of its problems. Now, the problems that it have, I consider very high quality. And they are really more on the genre of attitude and acceptance, being objective and open yourself, or I guess a better way to put it is to empty your plate of all the baggage that you have so that you can accept this new way of trading. And so what I mean by baggage, one of the biggest things that I have to overcome, particularly with very experienced traders, is that they come here with all these preconceived ideas of how you would trade Zero DTE, how you would trade options, how you go for credit spreads and real high probability trades, and try to center it and setting stops. They have this whole thing worked out. And when you confront them or you present them with this new way of doing things, they have such a hard time of letting go. And that's all they have to do is just let go. And that presents a problem. That presents a big problem, because there are some people that are just so set in their ways, it's almost impossible for them to ever let go. And we get some new lighting here too. I don't know if you are enjoying that or not. Let's see. We need to bring this down a little bit. There we go. So that's the first thing. That because we do things so differently than the other zero DTE strategies, and in fact, different from the way most people day trade. Most people that are day trading are trading very frequently, getting in and involved with the market at every aspect, every turn, etc., using technical analysis and price action and Fibonacci and all this other stuff, moving averages, MACD crossovers, golden crosses, death cross, all of this, overbought, oversold, and it just goes on and on. Trying to divorce people of those ideas, those things that have been drilled into them for years, for decades. Let it go, so that they can then accept this new way, this almost like the nirvana of trading strategies. It allows you to get into that kind of state of mind that you wish that you could get into in all the other strategies. In fact, they have whole books and courses on how to get yourself in the right mindset to overcome the anxiety you feel from these other ways of trading. When this style of trading, our style of zero DTE, engenders, it is tacit, that it's anxiety free. And the reason for that is that you never put yourself into a position that will compromise yourself, that will compromise your capital, unless you make some really stupid mistakes and decisions. And that's possible. That's very, very possible. Or unless you're filled with hope that you're going to achieve the maximum profit every time. And you see, that's one of the things with zero DTE, the way we do it, the zero dash DTE way, that unlike the other strategies where they're always going for these tiny little bit of scalping, tiny bits of profit off of the top and trying to avoid falling off the cliff, we're always on the plateau, never on the cliff, never at the edge of the cliff. Maybe we could say we're at the beach. And it's nice and sunny, and we have rolling waves coming in, a soft breeze. There's never any anxiety at all. All there is upside. Now, where the problem comes in is that unlike the other strategies where they have a cap on what they can go after, a 5%, 10% cap of the risk that they take on. That's the maximum amount of credit or profit that they can go after. For us, that's the minimum amount of profit. And then we have all this upside, this potential to climb the cliff. And some people, when they get into a trade, we make quick profits. Like this morning, we got into a trade. Price came down to our level. We could get out very quickly with a nice 100, 200% return on our money. Now, for most options traders, that would be like a glory day. To us, that's just another day. Yet there are some people that once they've achieved that, they see that, wow, if I stay in this trade for another 5 hours, well, maybe not 5, maybe 4.5, I could possibly achieve 1,000%. And so they stay in. And then the trade starts moving away. And then they lose that guaranteed 200%. They could, that's a problem. That's a problem that this strategy, like I said, it's a high quality problem. You're presented with this easy money. And then you see the golden hill there that all you have to do is wait, and the hill will come down to you, and you get to stand on top of it and collect the riches, right? You hope that price will just stay there for you long enough so that will happen. Well, let me tell you, my friends, and you've heard this before, hope is not a strategy. For us, the more sane thing, the right thing to do would be to take your money. If you have multiple positions, take enough off so you guarantee that you are going to be a winner no matter what happens. And let the other remaining position ride. And maybe it will be able to climb that golden mountain and return all the riches for you. So that's part of the problem. We set up a situation that has no anxiety, no real risk. I mean, of course, there is some risk, but because they're asymmetric trades, our risk is very small, and we're always looking at the potential. And see, that's the problem. You see the big kahuna trade that you could possibly make. And of course, we have a whole spectrum of profit that we can make between the small risk and that huge potential. And so every once in a while, a trade works out where that big kahuna trade becomes tacit. It's like, it's a no-brainer. We're going to make it. We just have to, stick with it a little bit. There's no real, it looks like it's a done deal. And in those cases, they become kind of obvious when they happen. Happens about 10 or 15% of the time. But once it happens once, you want it to happen every time. That's the problem. And that is a real problem because, there are some people that could have gotten out, but they were waiting, and then price ran away. And now it looks like it might be coming back. So, it runs away. They get out. They miss out on the 100, 200% of profit that they could have made. They hung around hoping that they were going to get the 1,000%. And then it moves away and they say, damn it, I don't want to miss out on this. So they end up either losing everything that they made or a good portion of it. And now they're out of the trade. No real easy way to get back in. It comes back. What if it comes back? And then pins it again. That can happen. So that's why we take off enough to generate what we call a free ride. A free ride is where you take off enough of your position to lock in, to realize the gains that you've made, and then let a small portion of it run for the potential of making another, perhaps double your winnings or more from the remaining contracts that are left. So it's one of those trades that you can win once and then win twice. Or if you don't win that extra time, you're happy with what you have. And so this is a growth strategy. Now, there are other problems that we have. Now, as I said, that, people come in with these preconceived notions on how they're going to analyze the market. And, we'll get traders in that will start putting up charts that have all kinds of indicators on them and lines and trend lines and moving averages. And they'll say, it's going to bounce off the 200 or the 100-day. And of course, we don't use any indicators. We don't use any technical analysis. I mean, technically, you could refer to volume profile, the analysis of volume profile as technical analysis, but it's not in the genre of what most people consider typical technical analysis, where they're looking at oscillators and overbought, oversold, and trend lines and Fibonacci and moving average crossovers and MACDs and stochastic and all that other stuff. We don't use any of that. All we use is a study of the actual volume of transactions that happened in the market. That's it. And it shows us everything that we need to know. It creates an environment that is completely uncluttered. And so when people come in and they start bringing their baggage with all of this other stuff that we know doesn't work, the reason why they're here usually is because they've been failures trying to employ all of this technical analysis and all this baggage of technical mumbo jumbo. Now, I'm not coming from that without any knowledge. I was considered at one time to be one of the best technical analysts out there. I wrote and developed algorithms, thousands of them, for hedge funds based on those. And what I really found was over time that there is really no edge in technical analysis. There is no edge. There is no edge. Now, there are ways that you can use that along with other types of heuristics and analysis of the geo-macro condition and combine that to find an edge. But the edge isn't in the technical analysis. It's in the evaluation of the market and finding opportunities and then using those techniques to kind of frame a trade. That might be possible. But using technical analysis as a strategy, it's not a strategy. It's just a bunch of poor set of tools that have nothing more than a coin flip of probable outcome. Actually, it's a negative outcome. So that's the other problem. Trying to divorce people of that baggage and get them to accept that there's a simpler way to do it. All you have to do is look at the market structure through volume profile, see where the market finds value, where it doesn't find value, and where the intersections of those places are. That will show you and really allow you to map out a very cogent and realistic idea of where price is likely to go. And then from that, you can model high probability trades, asymmetric trades using options that have defined risk, asymmetric properties over that structure that allow you to then capture profit and capture it relatively easy too. Now, it's easy to capture, the 100%, 200% trade. And yes, there's that lure of going after that big trade because it's always there in our trades. There's always that possibility of making that 500, 1,000, 1,500% return. And so people once they get a taste of that, they get a taste, It's like the animal, the wild animal that gets a taste of human blood, then it wants humans all the time. Oh, that was a really bad analogy. I might have to cut that out. But once you get that taste, you want more. And so it takes a fair amount of willpower to be able to say, okay, I'm happy with what I have. I'm going to take it. Or I'm going to employ a strategy that will guarantee I'll be a winner and then go after this. Or have some other type of strategy that allows you to scale in, scale out. But see, again, these are high quality problems that we have in the strategy that allow this sort of thing without having to feel that anxiety, because at no time are we at risk of, breaking an account or losing the last 2 or 3 weeks or even a month of returns, unless we do something like overtrade or go beyond our capacity for risk and certainly our tolerance. But with this strategy, when you're taking asymmetric trades, asymmetric opportunities, you put yourself in the right frame of reference. It never gives you the opportunity to feel that anxiety. That would have to be something that you would have to devise on purpose in our strategy. And I don't know why you would do that unless you're the masochistic trader. You don't have to be that. Where traditional technical analysis and traditional trading and day trading, it's always like that. It's always a struggle. And so you have to take therapy sessions to try to manage yourself in that environment. Here you do not have to do that. You never have to do that. So that's the real difference. Let's see. We got a question. Oh, we got a comment. I would rather have 100, 200% repeatable over time, chasing the 1,000%, rather than chasing the 1,000%. Repeatable always wins over time. The math works much better. So the cool thing is that those relatively large wins, 100, 200%, which are huge in most people's eyes, for us that's like average, are relatively easy. And when we do have an opportunity to go after the big trade, it's still there. We don't have to avoid it. But what we have to do, the the discipline that you have to show is that you're not trying to seek it every time. You have to come to the realization that it is an outlier trade. And our strategy is designed to take advantage of those outliers when they present them. But that does not mean that you go after the outlier every time. That obviously makes sense. And fortunately, because of the low barrier to entry to these trades, you're never really feeling that anxiety that you have to. But again, that is getting over that hump for new traders. So I constantly have new people coming in on a trial. At any one time, we have 60 to 100 trial members in our service. And we have them for 4 weeks. And for that 4 weeks, we're trying to get them outside, get them away, or reprogram their minds to accept this new paradigm. And so now you know what the problem is with trading Zero DTE. Like I said, high quality problem, but still a problem nonetheless. Some people have a hard time letting go. Maybe that's something that we can incorporate into the strategy. How to let go, how to become detached from those things that are causing us to suffer and preventing us from reaching trading nirvana. Well, anyways, there you go. If you would like to try out 0 days to expiration, trading options on the last day of expiration for the S&P on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. Oh, by the way, I also heard, I not only heard, I know that as of April 18th, the SPX is going to offer Zero DTEs 5 days a week. Now, whether or not our favorite trading platform will support that right away, that's another story, but it is coming. So somewhere down the line, we're going to have Zero DTE opportunities 5 days a week. Now, there's another problem. The problem there I see is that I love trading 3 days a week. It is so superior to trading 5 days a week because it allows this natural cadence, this day of rest. Trade, rest, trade, rest, trade, rest. It's wonderful. So that is, again, another high quality problem that we're going to have to deal with at Zero DTE. If you'd like to try out our service, go to zero-dte.com/try. TRY. Well, thank you very much for showing up here and listening to this. Really appreciate it. Peace to you all, and we'll see you on the next Zero DTE day. That'll be Monday. Take care.